Well, on New Year's Day, the federal penalty you'll have to pay if you don't have health insurance is going away. Congress repealed it last December.
That led to many people dropping their coverage. Healthcare costs for those of us who need it could keep going up. Local 22's Mike Hoey looks at how Vermont is working on striking a balance.
Kathleen St. Amour tells us she's relieved that Vermont law will soon require almost everyone to have health insurance or pay a state penalty. She's afraid of being priced right out of the health care market.
It would help a lot of us that are in problems. I know I went to the emergency room with a broken elbow, and all they could do for me was a sling because my insurance wouldn't cover anything.
Kathleen says her sister, who's had heart valve problems, would also benefit, and she believes they have plenty of company.
Especially some of our senior citizens and stuff, and the kids that are still in school, but they end up sick because they can't get the shots they need.
In May, on the last day of the regular state legislative session, the Vermont House and Senate both passed a state-level individual mandate. Governor Phil Scott has signed it. The new law created a working group to figure out issues like what kind of penalty you'll face if you don't have coverage and who might be exempt. As the chair of the Green Mountain Care Board, longtime former state lawmaker Kevin Mullen had to convene the group's first meeting.
I wish that this work had been done while the legislature was in session. Because if it had occurred then, you wouldn't have a period where people might consider dropping the insurance.
Mullen says he'll be watching the group very closely when it comes to cost-sharing subsidies.
We have to make sure that there isn't a segment of the population that it's still just too unaffordable to have insurance for.
At first, the idea here at the State House was to have the penalty kick in next year, but lawmakers eventually changed their minds and pushed it back to the start of 2020 instead. We asked community health centers of Burlington how the new law would affect them and their patients. They referred us to the Bi-State Primary Care Association, which represents all federally qualified health centers in Vermont and New Hampshire. No one there was available for an on-camera interview, but a spokeswoman says Vermont's health centers will continue to see patients regardless of their insurance status. She emailed us in part, quote, "There may be some patients who face more challenging financial impacts. The centers will continue to provide these patients with financial supports through sliding fee scales. It is unclear which specific patients will be impacted. Vermont health centers provide care to more than 170,000 Vermonters." Mike Hoey, Local 22 News, Montpelier.
The Vermont Individual Mandate Working Group held its first meeting June 26th. State law will force it to report its findings by the legislature come November 1st. If you want to know when and where, you'll be able to find that information a little bit later on our website, mychamplainvalley.com.
A new